A little bit about myself, Michelle. You talked about my professional career. On a personal note, I grew up in Buffalo, New York, moved to California when I was 20, and never looked back. I'm happy to say I'm from Buffalo, New York. With all the snow they had the last few years, I'm happy to be that. I have 2 grown children. My daughter Jennifer is 26. She is a physician. I'm very proud of that. And she is moving to Sacramento to start her residency in anesthesiology in a couple of months. My son is graduating from USD next month, and he is moving to Denver. So I will have major empty nester syndrome in the fall. So if you see me a little bit teary in the fall, you'll know why. My children are the joy of my life, and I will miss them horribly when they move.
With any luck, you'll have grandchildren soon.
I don't think so, but you never know. You never know. We'll see. And then, let's see, lastly, I guess in my spare time, as you mentioned, I do a lot of volunteer in nonprofits. And so if anybody has any curiosity or interest in joining nonprofits and becoming members of the board, see me at the luncheon, and I'll be happy to tell you a little bit about it.
And Jayne, what about you? Tell us something that I didn't say.
I have to share this mic here. Oh, we'll go this way. Okay, watch that hair. Okay. First of all, I'm waiting on Oprah to walk in any minute. And no, you're all not getting the new car. That's not how that's happening. All right, just quickly, I am a native of Arizona, there's not too many native Arizonans. So I did go to the University of Arizona and then came here to Southern California and never really left. I went to USC for graduate school. Interesting in terms of what my career choices were, it was really all around sports marketing and sports administration. So truly, many, many times in my career, I've been the only woman sitting in a conference room. So we'll share some interesting, hopefully, insights on that front. I am here in San Diego now at Flow TV, which was interesting hearing about that 55-inch television. I'm actually working in a world of 3.5-inch televisions. But it is true, we have a lot of sports and so forth, so that hasn't left me, and I did help to create and market NFL Sunday Ticket. And I often thought a great marketing campaign would be to have some sort of a divorce proceedings sort of, help in some way, because so many times, and actually an interesting note, and I'll leave it at this, which was for NFL Sunday Ticket, there was myself at DirecTV, of which I was there for 9 years, to help create that package and market it. So I was a woman with DirecTV, which was, we had to package it exclusively. My contact at the NFL was a woman. Her name was Tola Murphy-Barron, and she was there for many, many years at the NFL. And then the other exclusive holder was in North America, was in Canada, was a woman named Missy Gerner. So it's a little known fact that NFL Sunday Ticket was created and marketed by 3 women. I'll leave it at that note.
Very good. Hey. So let's see. Well, Barbara, you've got the mic back. So, ladies, what prepared you each for being a successful executive in what was predominantly a male industry?
I think for me, I have to say that I was born to be in a male-dominated environment. I grew up with 4 brothers. I'm the only girl. And Mom and Dad did not treat me any differently from my brothers. If there was dishes to be done, the boys got to do them just as well as I did. If there was the fence to be painted, I got the hammer and the paintbrush just as well as my brothers did. If there were holes to dig, I did that. So I'm grateful to Mom and Dad because they never treated me any differently, and I think that really, really helped establish the foundation for me to move into my career. In college, I was a math major. Again, those of you in the audience who are engineers in math and science, a lot of times you don't find very many women in those fields, at least back in the day. And so I really had to make it my own and really make sure that I was successful in my college career. So I really, again, was in a dominated environment of men. When I started in my professional career, I worked in startups, engineering startups, again, mostly men. So I really had to carry my own weight. I had to value add. I had to really show that I was somebody that was equal to the men in my life, in my career, and I really focused on that and made that an important part. So when I came to Qualcomm, I felt like I was really prepared. They're almost 16 years now, and I must say that Qualcomm, by the way, hello to all the Qualcomm women out there. Good to see you all. Qualcomm is a sponsor. Oh, there's another one with your daughter. Qualcomm's a sponsor of this event, and I'm grateful that they are. Qualcomm really supports diversity in the workplace, and I think it's just a wonderful company to work for, and I'm very grateful to be there. So that's really how I kind of got my start with men and being in the men's world.
Well, great. Jayne, what about you?
Well, I think it's interesting. We have something in common. We just discovered I was the youngest in my family and 2 older brothers. So there's maybe something about that. I don't know. But interestingly enough, somehow, I think it's both inherent and also nurtured, and the preparation really comes, from your roots and from your family and from what you're taught and how you're socialized and treated equally, early on. I never really thought about it. It just was, it was expected that you would do your best, that you would have a voice, and that you would, participate. And somehow along the way, I got nominated to be the president of my family. So to this day, they call me, ask me questions, I give guidance, I give whatever. So I think it is about a family kind of environment. For me, though, additionally, it was about, and I've said it, I'll say it again here, it was about sports. I mean, in those days, because it was a while ago when I was 7 and just starting to participate, they had a lot of individual type sports activities for girls, and it was badminton, and it was archery and golf, and I wish I had played more golf. But the only team sport which I was attracted to was softball. So that's what I went and did, and my dad would take me down there, and he didn't expect that I wouldn't do anything except be prepared and be focused and be ready. Maybe not right when I was 7, but as it went along, 8.5 at least, yeah, right. And so it was really those skills about understanding a team environment, understanding that you had to come prepared, understanding that teammates were counting on you, and that you were counting on them, and about that kind of discipline and focus, and quite often losses, and hopefully lots of wins that helped you weave your way through that experience. Well, interestingly enough, I didn't know what I was learning at the time, but fast forward now, certainly there's not a day that goes by that those same skill sets aren't applicable in what we do in business. How does it apply with regard to being in a male-dominated world? I think it really isn't about being necessarily male-dominant or not. It's about being at the table. It's about having a voice. It's about having an opinion and be knowledgeable, prepared, and participating. And so in that world, you survive that way if you as I like to say, sit up in your chair and be ready to participate.
So Jayne, let's stay with you now. So, at the table where we have both men and women, what difference have you seen between men's and women's management styles? And are there certain circumstances where one might work better than another?
I think it's not perfectly black and white. Obviously, there's, I'm sure Barbara and I have different management styles. So obviously, we're all individuals. But let's go to what some tendencies might be. I think women in business and in general, I think we can safely say, and we're interested to hear Barbara's opinion about this, are consensus builders, and that do like to nurture and mentor. I think that those skill sets and sort of that style is certainly a main difference. That said, as you do that and as you build consensus, you also have to be willing to take risk and be the one to, as I say, be the throat to choke when you really got to make a decision and you really have to be accountable. So whether that's you and being willing and able to stand up and take that, and by sometimes showing those more, strength, that kind of strength, sometimes people's perception is, wow, that woman, where'd she come from? And they get offended by it, when in fact sometimes men show those characteristics and it's a leadership characteristic. So you know, you have to just weave your way through and be true to yourself and be true to your individual, you know, style. But I think generally for women, you know, where men might be more, dictate more, I like to call it a velvet hammer. You know, sometimes you have to, you know, sugar's better than salt. Those are all from my dad, by the way, he taught me that. So I think those styles, again, they're individual, but there are also some things that we've been nurtured with or that we have been socialized with through our lives. So let's let Barbara answer that.
Barbara, something to add?
Yeah, we always bring up our dads, huh?
We do.
Yeah, God rest my dad's soul. He was a great influence in my life. I agree with you that women are generally more collaborative. Men are generally more, I guess I would say loners, and I'm not sure I want to say that in a negative sense, but if you ever worked with a group of men versus a group of women, and if you were given the same problem, men tend to go off and do the research and think about it, and then they'll come back to the table. Women tend to say, why don't we get together and talk about it and see what we know and see how we can map this out, and then they go off and do research. So very different styles. I like to often say that, oh, men are no different from women and women are no different from men, but in reality, there really are significant differences, and I think for the better. I think that corporate America needs more collaboration, needs more mentoring, needs more women in power, women in places of decision making, because I think we have a lot to offer. We are a well-educated group of women. We have a lot to offer, we have a lot to contribute, and I really think that that's important. One thing I wanted to comment on, Jayne, that you mentioned was the importance of mentoring. Qualcomm has started a pilot mentoring program, and Athena is a big supporter of mentoring. If you don't have a mentor, and you're kind of, you know, early in your career or you're in mid-level, and you often may see a woman in the workplace and you say, gosh, you know, I really admire that person, or there's something about the qualities she has. Approach that person and say, you know what, can I have coffee with you? Can I just get to know you better? I've got something I want to talk about. Take the lead in that. I think you'll find that a huge benefit. And don't be afraid. And then if you're also, like me, like us, been around a little bit, people always say, you know, gee, I feel like I'm taking up too much of your time. You know, truly, to me, it's an honor and a privilege when someone comes to me and says, hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee? And I've got some questions that I want to learn from you. So, you know, don't be shy about doing that, because I think that's the power of women, and I think that will continue, and I think men can benefit from that as well.